The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is one of the most tactical and eye-opening books ever written on power. How to gain it, maintain it, and protect yourself from those who wield it. Law 1. Never outshine the master. That's exactly what Galileo Galilei did in the 1600s. He was one of the greatest scientific minds of his time. But like many scholars, he faced a constant problem: funding. He needed wealthy patrons to support his research. So, when he discovered the moons of Jupiter, he didn't just announce it. He strategically dedicated the discovery to the Medici family, whose royal symbol happened to be Jupiter. This flattery worked perfectly. The Medici saw Galileo's discovery as proof of their divine right to rule. In return, they rewarded him with a prestigious position as their official court mathematician and philosopher, securing his financial and political stability. Two men. One ignored this law and lost everything, while the other mastered it and thrived. To apply this law, make your superiors feel secure. If your boss is insecure, don't flaunt your intelligence. Make them feel like the genius. Compliment their ideas, ask for their advice, and let them take credit when necessary. Flatter with strategy. Just like Galileo, align your achievements with your superiors' interests. Make them feel like your success is an extension of theirs. Know when to break the law. If your superior is a fading star, weak and losing influence, it may be time to subtly outshine them. Position yourself as the natural successor, but do it carefully. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. To apply this law, be wary of friends. They may appear loyal, but familiarity breeds entitlement, and entitlement breeds resentment. They rarely challenge you openly, but that doesn't mean they support you. Their betrayals are often sudden and unpredictable. Hiring friends can weaken your authority. They blur the line between personal and professional, making it hard to enforce discipline. Use enemies to your advantage. Enemies are valuable. If you have none, create them. A leader without opposition becomes blind to their weaknesses. They sharpen your focus, push you to be strategic, and give you a clear enemy to rally against. An open enemy is predictable. You know where they stand. But a hidden enemy, disguised as a friend, is far more dangerous. Loyalty is a myth. Strategy is everything. If you want power, stop relying on loyalty. Keep friends for friendship, but work with the skilled and competent, even if they were once your rivals. Because at the end of the day, a trusted friend can betray you in an instant, but a well-managed enemy will always behave exactly as expected. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Power comes from controlling what others know about you. If people can't predict your next move, they can't stop you. But if you reveal too much, you give them the chance to prepare against you. That's why the key to control is misdirection, leading people to believe one thing while you secretly pursue another. So how do you do it? Distract with false desires. Silence can be suspicious. If you refuse to share your thoughts, people will start guessing, and often, they'll guess correctly. Instead, talk openly, but about the wrong things. Bismarck didn't stay quiet. He distracted people with false ambitions. You can do the same. Express fake goals. Make misleading statements. Flood people with irrelevant details. This serves three purposes. You appear honest and trustworthy. You keep your real intentions hidden, and your rivals waste time chasing illusions. Use smoke screens. The best deception is hidden in plain sight. A friendly gesture, a harmless appearance, or even an air of humility can all be perfect smoke screens. People focus on what seems ordinary and unthreatening, never suspecting something deeper is happening. Appear weak and unthreatening. The most powerful figures in history mastered the art of being underestimated. If you seem dull, harmless, or incapable, people will stop watching closely. And when they least expect it, that's when you make your move. People instinctively believe what's in front of them. They assume words match actions. But if you can control what they see, you can control what they believe. In war, business, and life, the less they know, the more power you have. Law 4, always say less than necessary. Louis XIV understood a simple truth. When you speak less, you maintain control. If people don't know your position, they can't manipulate or oppose you. When you speak too much, the less in control you appear. You risk saying something foolish, or even worse, revealing your weaknesses. Even simple words, if vague or open-ended, will seem more important and powerful. So, how do you wield the power of silence? Make people reveal more about themselves. One of the most powerful effects of silence is that it makes people uncomfortable. When you stop talking, they feel the pressure to fill the space. And when they talk, they reveal more than they intended. Thoughts, intentions, and sometimes even weaknesses. People will hang on to your every word. When you talk less, people listen more carefully. Silence compels attention. They begin to interpret and analyze every word you say, often assigning more meaning to it than you intended. Once words are spoken, you can't take them back. Remember, words are powerful, but they also come with consequences. Once you've spoken them, you can't erase them. The more you speak, the higher the chance you'll say something foolish. For example, sarcasm may feel good in the moment, but it can backfire and damage relationships. The more you say, the less impressive you seem. When you try to impress people with your words, the opposite often happens. Even if your ideas are brilliant, speaking too much dilutes their impact. By saying less, you leave people curious about what you really mean. Your brevity gives your words an air of hidden wisdom, something they have to ponder. They'll respect you more for keeping them guessing. Saying too much can destroy you. In 454 before the Common Era, the Roman military hero Coriolanus was admired by all for his battlefield victories. But when he ran for Senate, his arrogance and constant talking turned people against him. The more he spoke, the more he alienated others. His reputation crumbled, and he was eventually banished from Rome. Coriolanus couldn't control his words, and it cost him everything. This shows that speaking too much can't only diminish your power, it can destroy it. Law 5, so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Here are 4 ways to safeguard and grow your reputation. First, never appear desperate. When your reputation is challenged, don't lash out emotionally. Doing so only shows insecurity. Instead, stay composed and don't engage in petty attacks. Desperation weakens your power, while calmness commands respect. Second, spread rumors about your rivals. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Attacking someone else's reputation can be a potent weapon, especially if you have less power than they do. The key is to subtly spread rumors to sow doubt. But don't seem petty or vengeful. The goal is to create suspicion, not to appear desperate. Third, don't go too far in attacking someone's reputation. While spreading rumors can be effective, don't overdo it. If you attack too aggressively, it may damage your own reputation more than your rivals. Fourth, use humor or gentle mockery. Once you have a strong reputation, you can use subtler tactics like humor or mockery. A clever, lighthearted jab at your rival can be incredibly effective, without resorting to harsh slander. Think of it like the lion toying with the mouse. You're in control, and your rival is on the defensive. Now let's imagine your reputation is tarnished. No worries, this isn't permanent. By surrounding yourself with respected persons. Law 6, court attention at all costs. Everything in life is judged by appearance. If no one sees you, you don't exist. Most people fade into the background, afraid to stand out, afraid to be noticed. But if you blend in, you're powerless. The solution is to become a magnet for attention. Stand out, appear larger, more intriguing, make them look. But no one is born knowing how to attract attention. It's a skill you must learn. Let's talk about 6 powerful strategies to ensure your name and ideas outshine the competition. First, attach your name to the sensational and the scandalous. If no one is paying attention to you, create a controversy. P.T. Barnum, the legendary showman, planted fake scandals about himself in newspapers because he knew that in the game of attention, even bad press is better than being ignored. However, use this tactic sparingly. Once you have the public's eye, constant controversy can backfire. But in the beginning, the quality of attention doesn't matter, only that you have it. Second, keep reinventing yourself. Attention is fleeting. If you don't evolve, people will get bored and move on. This is why pop stars constantly change their image. Reinvention keeps you fresh, unpredictable, and in demand. Third, be unpredictable. Predictability makes you invisible. People feel in control when they can predict your actions. Take that away from them and you gain power. Fourth, create an air of mystery. In a world where everything is overshared, mystery is irresistible. Never reveal everything at once. Leave people guessing. A little secrecy makes you fascinating. Mystery forces people to pay attention. They analyze your every move, trying to figure you out. And the more they wonder about you, the more you stay on their mind. Fifth, being attacked is better than being ignored. Most people fear criticism. They try to avoid controversy. Big mistake. Attention is power, and controversy fuels attention. Don't fear criticism. Use it. If they're attacking you, it means they're paying attention. Sixth, appear larger than life. People don't admire ordinary, they admire legends. Never downplay what makes you different. Amplify it, own it, use it to your advantage. If you blend in, you disappear. If you stand out, you rise. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Thomas Edison, the so-called great inventor, built his legend not just on innovation, but on taking credit for others' work. In the late 1800s, Edison hired Nikola Tesla, a brilliant scientist, to improve his outdated electrical generators, promising him a $50,000 reward. But when Tesla completed the work, Edison laughed and told him, "You don't understand American humor." Tesla was furious. He quit and later developed alternating current, a superior electrical system. Tesla, though a genius, never played the game of power. He focused on invention, not influence. And in the end, he died penniless, while Edison became a legend. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards visibility. It's not who works the hardest, but who claims the spotlight. Never do for yourself what others can do for you. Here's 4 reasons why. First, burnout is for the weak. If you try to do everything yourself, you'll burn out. But people admire those who seem effortlessly efficient, almost godlike in their abilities. Second, you don't have every skill. Use people who do. Even the most talented people have weaknesses. The solution? Find those who have the skills you lack and use them. Third, stand on the shoulders of giants. Some of history's most celebrated figures weren't original creators. They were brilliant borrowers. Shakespeare borrowed plots from older writers. Picasso copied techniques from other artists. Steve Jobs didn't invent the personal computer. He took existing ideas, improved them, and made them his own. The real genius isn't the one who creates from scratch. It's the one who knows what to take and how to use it. Fourth, sometimes sharing credit is the smartest move. Taking credit is crucial, but sometimes giving credit strategically can give you even more power. Take Henry Kissinger, the U.S. Secretary of State under Nixon. He was the mastermind behind America's historic negotiations with China. Kissinger understood a crucial truth. Sometimes letting others shine in the short term ensures you keep your influence in the long run. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Powerful people don't chase. They attract. They understand that making the first move often leads to mistakes. By waiting, observing, and luring others into action, they control the game. Here's how to make others come to you, on your terms. First, keep others reacting. Never react yourself. The moment you react, you lose control. Instead of chasing opportunities or enemies, set the stage and force them to play by your rules. Create temptation and offer they can't refuse. Make them think they're in control until they've walked right into your trap. Stay calm. When they move out of desperation, you strike with precision. Second, bait your enemy. Then strike. People act out of greed, ego, or fear. Learn to exploit this. Greedy people dangle wealth. Arrogant people challenge their pride. Fearful people threaten their security. Third, control the battlefield. If you fight on someone else's terms, you lose. Always maneuver the battle onto your ground. Choose the setting. Let them come to your arena. Control the timing. Strike when they're vulnerable. Make them feel safe. Then, take it all away. Fourth, exploit your opponent's weakness. Everyone has a flaw. Find it and press on it. Impatient people rush into traps. Prideful people refuse to back down. Desperate people make mistakes. The most powerful leaders don't fight battles head-on. They manipulate emotions, create illusions, and make others destroy themselves. Fifth, master your emotions. Never act out of anger. Aggression feels powerful, but it makes you predictable. If you let rage control you, you're playing into someone else's hands. Remember, the calmest person in the room holds the most power. Patience forces others to make mistakes first. Emotional people are easily manipulated. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Winning an argument might feel good in the moment, but the victory is an illusion. Sure, you might win the debate, but you stir up resentment, ego wounds, and lingering hostility. Instead of changing minds, you create silent enemies. As Balthazar Gracian put it, the truth is generally seen, rarely heard. Instead of proving a point, prove results. Actions persuade, words don't. Of course, there are moments when an argument can be useful, but not to prove you're right. Instead, use it strategically to confuse, deceive, or control the situation. Take Victor Lustig, the infamous con artist. He once sold a fake money printing box for $10,000. When the buyer realized he'd been scammed, he came back furious. Now, Lustig could have argued, he could have defended himself, but that would have made him look guilty. Instead, he played dumb. He acted shocked that the machine wasn't working, and even blamed the buyer for misusing it. Then, like a true manipulator, he offered to return the money, knowing full well he had already won the psychological battle. Here are 3 ways to win an argument without fighting. Feign ignorance. Act confused to shift the burden onto your opponent. Overwhelm with details. Use technical jargon to make them doubt themselves. Offer a fake solution. This makes your opponent feel like they've won, even when they haven't. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Just as a disease spreads from person to person, so do emotions, mindsets, and misfortunes. Some people radiate negativity, and if you let them into your life, their chaos becomes your chaos. The unfortunate often draw misfortune onto themselves, and they will pull you down with them. They come in different forms, but the signs are clear. Drama follows them everywhere. Broken relationships, ruined careers, endless complaints. They drain your energy. No matter what you do, they're never satisfied. They're always the victim. Nothing is ever their fault. They live in crisis mode. Constant instability, bad decisions, and self-sabotage. They pull you into their problems, whether through guilt, manipulation, or sheer emotional weight. So when you encounter one, just run. Don't argue with them. Don't try to help them. And never introduce them to your friends. You'll only spread the infection. Some people can't be saved, and trying will only bring you down. Instead of wasting energy on the wrong people, focus on surrounding yourself with the right ones. If toxic people drain you, then positive people do the opposite. They uplift you, inspire you, and make success feel effortless. Here's how to improve your life through the right associations. If you're naturally anxious, befriend those who are calm and grounded. If you're often pessimistic, surround yourself with optimists. If you tend to isolate yourself, connect with the socially confident. Your mindset is shaped by those around you, so choose wisely. Stay away from the infected and instead align yourself with the fortunate, the happy, and the strong. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. If people rely on you for their success, their security, or their happiness, they will never let you go. The more they depend on you, the more control you have. But if they realize they can function without you, you become disposable. So, here are 10 ways to make yourself indispensable. Seek out weak leaders. Powerful rulers don't need you, but weak ones do. Align yourself with those in power who lack direction or strength. Become their missing piece. Make people think they need you. True power is subtle. It's about making people believe they can't function without you. Subtly create dependence, so they think losing you would be a disaster. Immerse yourself in their work. The more a leader relies on your expertise, the harder it becomes to replace you. Handle complex tasks only you understand. Possess an irreplaceable skill. If you offer something unique, whether it's a rare talent, deep knowledge, or a specialized skill, people will hesitate to cut you out. Make yourself impossible to replace. Always have other options. When people know you have alternatives, they will fight to keep you. Never rely on just one source of power. Keep a backup plan. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. People are naturally suspicious, always on guard for deception. But ironically, this makes a well-placed act of honesty even more powerful. When someone appears sincere, especially when it's unexpected, it catches others off guard. This is called selective honesty. Gain trust early, and people will overlook or rationalize any deception that follows. Here are 7 ways to make honesty your ultimate weapon to disarm anyone. Appear honest at the right moment. A well-timed display of sincerity makes people drop their defenses. Even if you've been dishonest before, one act of apparent honesty can erase doubts. Give before you take. People expect hidden motives, but a gift, whether it's a favor, an apology, or a confession, softens their defenses. It makes them more likely to trust you when it matters. First impressions matter. If you establish yourself as trustworthy from the beginning, people will cling to that belief, even when evidence suggests otherwise. Build a reputation for honesty. The more consistently honest you appear, the easier it is to deceive when necessary. People rarely question those with a clean track record. A gift is the perfect distraction. Gifts trigger gratitude, which blinds people to ulterior motives. Many leaders have used lavish gestures to make enemies overlook the real power play. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy. When you need something, don't expect people to help out of kindness, morality, or gratitude. That's not how human nature works. Most people are too absorbed in their own needs to feel obligated to return a favor. So if you want a yes, don't ask them to care about your problem. Show them how saying yes solves theirs. People aren't moved by generosity. They're moved by self-interest. When making your appeal, don't bring up the past. Just because someone owes you one doesn't mean they'll pay you back. In fact, people often resent feeling obligated. Instead of guilt-tripping them, make it clear why helping you serves their interests today. Don't assume people care about your problems. Your struggles might feel huge to you, but to others, they're just background noise. If your appeal is based on emotion, morality, or sympathy, people will ignore you. Instead, shift the focus. How does helping you make their life easier, better, or more profitable? Show how you can solve their problems. People help when they see you as useful, but if they see you as a burden, they'll avoid you. So, before you ask for anything, put yourself in their shoes. What do they get out of this? Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more control you have. But the best spies don't hire informants. They gather information themselves, without anyone realizing it. To do so, pose as a friend. People lower their guard when they believe you genuinely like them. They talk freely, exposing secrets, plans, and weaknesses, without even realizing it. And once you have that information, you hold the upper hand. Here's how to do it effectively. Let others do the talking. People love talking about themselves. Stay quiet, ask the right questions, and they'll reveal everything, thinking you're just a great listener. Control your own words. The more you talk, the more you reveal. Great spies listen more, speak less. Use social settings to your advantage. People drop their guard at parties, dinners, and casual meetups. Observe interactions. Who trusts who? Who's hiding something? Who's nervous? Information is everywhere if you pay attention. Trigger emotional reactions. To uncover hidden motives, subtly challenge someone. When people get emotional, they stop thinking clearly and they reveal more than they should. The false confession trick. If you want someone to open up, share a secret of your own, real or fake. People instinctively reciprocate, revealing their own secrets in return. This also tests their character. Will they keep your secret or will they run their mouth? Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. Many enemies don't disappear. They retreat, waiting for the right moment to strike back. That's why when you move against an enemy, you must finish the job. But crushing doesn't always mean physical destruction. It means making sure they can never threaten you again. Here's how to do it effectively. Never show sympathy. Enemies see mercy as weakness. If you give them time to recover, they will strike back when you least expect it. Don't leave room for negotiation. A cornered enemy with nothing to lose is the most dangerous kind. If you can't eliminate them, cut them off completely. No deals, no second chances. Some enemies will act friendly for now, waiting for an opportunity to destroy you later. Don't fall for it. Beware of former friends turned enemies. A former ally knows your weaknesses. They might smile in your face, but deep down, resentment lingers. An enemy left alive is like a wounded viper. You might nurse it back to health, but one day it will bite you. Let them destroy themselves. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Ever notice how things become more desirable when they're rare? If something is always available, we take it for granted. But when it disappears, we realize its value. The same applies to your presence. When you're always around, people get used to you and you fade into the background. But if you withdraw at the right moment, you create demand for your return. By making yourself scarce, you create mystery, desire, and respect. To use absence to your advantage, remember that timing is everything. This law only works if you've already established your presence. Early on, make an impact. Be unforgettable. Command attention and establish your presence. Because if you vanish too early, you don't increase your value. You just disappear. Withdraw before people push you away. Too much presence makes people take you for granted. Leave before they grow tired of you. Create demand by disappearing. When you're gone, people will feel your absence. They'll wonder about you. They'll want you back. Return at the right moment. When you come back, it should feel like a resurrection. Your absence will have increased your value. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Humans crave patterns. We look for habits, routines, and anything familiar. The moment you become predictable, you're vulnerable. Others can anticipate and counter your every move. Unpredictability, on the other hand, forces people to react on your terms. As your actions have no clear pattern, people become confused, off balance, and even intimidated. They waste energy trying to anticipate your next move, only to be caught off guard. Here's how to use unpredictability to keep the advantage. Break your patterns. If people always know what to expect from you, they will control you. Change your behavior, shift strategies, and keep them guessing. Strike when they least expect it. Surprise is a weapon. When you act without warning, others freeze, giving you control. Keep opponents unsettled. Confusion leads to mistakes. The more they struggle to predict you, the more power you have over them. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. The world is dangerous. Enemies exist. It's natural to want security. But withdrawing too much doesn't make you safer. It makes you weaker. Here's why. You lose access to power. Information, influence, and opportunity come from people. When you cut yourself off, you cut off your lifeline. You lose awareness of threats. The world moves on without you. If you're isolated, you won't hear what's happening, including the dangers forming against you. You lose perspective. Alone, small problems feel massive. You start fearing the wrong things and ignoring the real threats. You become trapped. The longer you isolate, the harder it is to re-enter society. Your world shrinks and your options disappear. You become an easy target. In strategy, stillness invites attack. When enemies know exactly where you are, they know exactly where to strike. If isolation leads to weakness, then what's the alternative? The solution is to apply the opposite strategy. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Not everyone reacts to offense the same way. Some people will forgive and move on. Others will remember it for life. And if you offend the wrong person, no strategy can save you. The key to survival is knowing who you're dealing with before you act. Here are 5 types of dangerous people you should never offend. The arrogant and proud man. At first, he may seem friendly, even charming, but his ego is fragile. The slightest insult, even unintentional, will turn him into a relentless enemy. And his revenge won't be measured or rational. It will be extreme, obsessive, and destructive. The hopelessly insecure man. Unlike the arrogant and proud man, this one won't explode in anger. He'll simmer. His ego is built on shaky ground. He doesn't lash out immediately. Instead, he holds grudges, undermines you subtly, and slowly drains you over time. You won't see the damage at first, but by the time you realize what's happening, it's already too late. If you offend this type, disappear. He won't attack head-on, but he will make sure you suffer. So before you make a move, analyze the people around you. A single mistake can turn an invisible enemy into a lifelong threat. Here are 5 rules for avoiding the wrong enemy. Never rely on instincts alone. Your gut feeling is not enough. Study people. Observe their actions, habits, and reactions. Never trust appearances. A kind smile can hide a vengeful heart. A loud, aggressive person might actually be a coward. Judge people by their actions, not their words. Reject people politely. Today's weak person might be tomorrow's powerful rival. A small insult today can turn into a lifelong vendetta. Test people before offending them. Some people's insecurity and ego fragility cannot tolerate the slightest offense. Make a small joke at their expense. A confident person will laugh. An insecure one will take offense immediately. That's your warning sign. Never insult just for the sake of it. Some people cannot let go of an offense. If you don't need to make an enemy, don't. Law 20, do not commit to anyone. When you refuse to tie yourself down, you stay unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. Indeed, once people know where you stand, they can control or counter you. But if they're unsure, they must chase, adapt, and react, which gives you the upper hand. Here's why you should be careful before committing. Be courted by all. Commit to none. If people believe they possess you, they take you for granted. But if you stay just out of reach, they fight for your attention. Desire is contagious. If people see that others want you, they will want you too. But the moment you commit, the magic disappears. You become ordinary, predictable, and, most dangerously, trapped. Keep them wanting more. Stay valuable by never giving yourself away completely. The aura of power that grows with time. The less available you are, the more people respect and desire you. Never discourage someone's hopes, but never fully yield either. Let them chase. People admire those who stand apart, who refuse to be owned. The more independent you seem, the more others will try to be the one who finally wins you over. Stay above the fray. Do not get pulled into battles. People will try to drag you into their conflicts. The second you take a side, you create enemies. Instead, be the wise observer. Let others exhaust themselves in their battles, while you remain neutral. When they're weak, you step in, not as a fighter, but as a mediator. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. No one likes feeling outsmarted. If you make someone feel less intelligent, they'll resent you. But if you make them feel smarter, they'll drop their guard, never suspecting that you're the one in control. The key to power isn't proving you're the smartest person in the room. it's making others believe they are. When someone sees you as naive or incompetent, they lower their guard, reveal information they wouldn't otherwise share, underestimate your ambitions, trust you because you make them feel good about themselves. Meanwhile, as they bask in their own superiority, you observe, learn, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. But while downplaying your intelligence is generally the best strategy, there are sometimes exceptions. When you need credibility. If you're trying to establish authority, a display of intelligence can work in your favor. When you're in trouble, sometimes proving competence can get you out of a tough situation. At the start of your rise, you can't play too dumb early on. Your superiors need to see you as capable, but not so much that you become a threat. Law 22, use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. When you're weak, never fight for honor's sake. Choose surrender instead. Fighting a losing battle only drains your energy and strengthens your opponent. While surrender buys you time, it allows you to recover, observe, and wait for a future counterattack. Some think surrender is weakness. In reality, it's a tactical advantage. Here's why. Fighting when you're weak is pointless. No amount of pride will change the outcome. No one saves the weak. People don't risk their own position to help a losing cause. Resistance invites total destruction. If you're alone and outmatched, submission is sometimes the only way to survive. Martyrdom doesn't bring victory. Dying for a cause means you're no longer around to fight for it. Surrender buys you time. Time to recover, learn, and plot your revenge. It lulls your enemy into complacency. They assume you're defeated and stop seeing you as a threat. It disguises your ambition. While they let their guard down, you prepare. Surrender conceals great power. It positions you for a comeback. When the enemy is weakest, that's when you strike. Surrender isn't about giving up, it's about infiltration. It allows you to get close to your enemy, study their weaknesses, and quietly position yourself for the perfect counterattack. But be careful. Surrender is only useful if it leads to long-term victory. If your enemy never gives you an opening, surrender alone won't save you. And in rare cases, martyrdom may be the only way to inspire future resistance. Law 23, concentrate your forces. Once you find your source of power, don't scatter your energy chasing too many goals. You can't hit two targets with one arrow. If your mind is divided, your impact is weak. Focus all your energy on one powerful strike. While focus is powerful, it must be applied wisely, because there are two dangers. First, if you're up against a stronger opponent, concentration makes you an easy target. When outmatched, it's better to stay fluid and unpredictable, rather than presenting yourself as a direct threat. Second, tying yourself to one source of power can be dangerous. If your industry collapses, you fall with them. Therefore, always have a backup plan. Even as you focus, keep secondary options open to maintain flexibility. Law 24, play the perfect courtier. So if you want to thrive in power, you must think like a courtier. Here are the 16 golden rules that courtiers follow. Please, but not too much. Over-flattery makes people suspicion. Obey, but distinguish yourself. Show value without threatening authority. Never make the ruler insecure. Always make them feel in control. Master the art of manipulation. Influence without being obvious. Let them shine. Make the king feel kingly. Make others fear your power. People respect those who seem powerful. Appearances are everything. Perception matters more than reality. Charm is a weapon. Be gracious and polite. Strike indirectly. Hide your aggression behind politeness. Choose your words carefully. Never say more than necessary. Words are tools. Use them well. Turn a compliment or an insult into an opportunity. Be a source of pleasure. People are drawn to those who make them feel good. Dignity is power. Never humiliate yourself. Build influence, not enemies. A strong network is the key to survival. Win the ruler's favor. This gives you protection against attacks, control from the shadows. The perfect courtier often becomes more powerful than the ruler himself. But beyond tactics, true courtiers understand the deeper rules of power, rules that separate those who rise from those who fall. Avoid ostentation. Drawing too much attention breeds envy. Practice nonchalance. Make your skills seem effortless. Never let them see you sweat. Be frugal with flattery. Too much loses value. Arrange to be noticed, but subtly. Stand out, but never too boldly. Your presence should feel natural, not forced. Mirror others' styles. Alter your style and language. According to the person you are dealing with, people trust those who reflect their values. Never be the bearer of bad news. The messenger is always killed. Let someone else take the fall. Never act overly familiar with your superiors. They don't want a friend and a subordinate. Never criticize those above you directly. Law 25, recreate yourself. Power, your identity is either your greatest tool or your greatest trap. The world will try to define you, to box you into a role, and once you accept it, you become predictable. And predictability is weakness, but power belongs to those who refuse to be defined. Those who shape themselves, rewrite their own story, adapt to the moment, and decide who they will become. So, if you want to reinvent yourself and take control of your identity, follow these principles. Master yourself. Before you can shape how the world sees you, you must first understand and control yourself. Power begins with self-awareness and the ability to adapt without losing your core identity. Be self-conscious. Recognize that life is a stage. Know the role you're playing and how others perceive you. Master self-control. Master your emotions and expressions. Adapt to the situation without losing control. Create a memorable identity. Craft an image that is impossible to ignore, one that makes people talk. Master the art of theatrics. Reinvention isn't just about who you are. It's about how you present yourself. A well-crafted image needs the right stage, the right timing, and the right dramatic effect to leave a lasting impact. Use suspense, surprise, and grand gestures to make your presence unforgettable. Position yourself at the center of the action. Never fade into the background. Your identity is a costume. Wear it with confidence, but never let it wear you. But great reinvention isn't just about creating an identity. It's about how you reveal it to the world. If you reveal too much too soon, you lose your mystery. Hold back too long, and you fade into obscurity. That's where theatrics come in. The most powerful figures don't just exist. They stage their presence. Here's how you do it. The beau geste, a bold, symbolic gesture that cements your reputation. Stage entrances and exits. People remember the first and last impression. Make them count. Understated presence. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words. But be careful. Overacting can backfire. Trying too hard to be seen is just another way of looking desperate. So master these tactics, but remember, true power isn't in just creating one identity. It's in adapting. The strongest players don't stick to a single role. They shift, evolve, and become whatever the moment demands. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. Power is a dirty game, and those who truly master it understand one crucial rule. You must appear spotless. Your reputation is built more on what you conceal than on what you reveal. Mistakes, scandals, and ruthless decisions must never be traced back to you. Instead, use others to do your dirty work. Let them take the risks and the fall, while you stay untouchable. To do it, use the scapegoat strategy. When things go wrong, find a scapegoat. Let others take the risks while you remain in control. Finally, here's how to apply this law. Never let your name be attached to failure or scandal. Keep a scapegoat ready for when things go wrong. Avoid doing the dirty work yourself. Find someone, a cat's paw, willing to take the risk while you reap the rewards. Control the narrative. If a mistake is made, act quickly. Shift the blame before people start looking at you. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Here's the 5-step formula. Keep it vague yet inspiring. First, attract attention. Your message should be simple yet profound, filled with the promise of transformation. But don't reveal too much. The less you say, the more people will fill in the blanks with their own hopes and dreams. This makes them even more invested in your vision. Say things like, "You are destined for greatness." They don't want you to know the secret. Appeal to emotions, not logic. Once you have their attention, you must keep them engaged. The biggest threats to any movement are boredom and skepticism. If people think rationally, they might start questioning you. So don't give them time to think. Keep them emotionally engaged. Use dramatic speeches, visuals, and rituals to create a hypnotic atmosphere. Surround yourself with an aura of mystery and exclusivity. Keep them entertained so they never stop to analyze too deeply. By constantly stimulating their emotions, you ensure they stay loyal. Borrow religious structures. Every powerful movement, from ancient religions to modern brands, follows a structured system that elevates the leader above the followers. To achieve this, you must create rituals that reinforce commitment. Develop a hierarchy where members progress in status over time. Assign titles to make them feel special and chosen. Ask them for sacrifices, like money or time, framing them as a necessary for their own transformation. But most importantly, establish yourself as more than just a leader. You are a prophet, a visionary, a revolutionary. Speak with conviction. Dress the part. Act as if you possess wisdom beyond ordinary people. The stronger your image, the more authority you hold. Disguise your source of income. As your movement grows, power and wealth will flow to you. But you must never appear power-hungry. Instead, if you become rich, claim your success comes from the truth of your methods, not from your followers' pockets. People will copy you, believing that if they follow in your path, they too will achieve success, and their devotion will blind them to any contradictions in your story. Create an us versus them dynamic. A movement thrives on opposition. To solidify loyalty, you need an enemy. If no enemy exists, invent one. Frame outsiders as non-believers or oppressors. Convince followers they are part of an exclusive group under attack. Use this fear to keep them united and dependent on you. When people feel threatened, they cling tighter to their leader. Even if they have doubts, they won't leave, because betraying you would mean betraying the cause. Interaction with boldness. In 15, infects your actions with doubt, and doubt is contagious. The moment you appear unsure, others start questioning you. But when you move with boldness, you seize control, forcing others onto the defensive. A bold move commands respect. A timid one invites challenge. Here's why boldness works. The bolder the lie, the more believable. This is why in negotiations, asking for something outrageous often gets you more than playing it safe. A bold claim delivered with confidence distracts from its flaws. But hesitation, on the other hand, gives people time to doubt you. So if you demand the extraordinary, you force others to take you seriously. But let's be clear, boldness is not for every situation. It's a tactical weapon, not a blind strategy. You must plan ahead, think strategically, and when the moment comes, strike with audacity. Mistakes made through boldness can be corrected with even more boldness. But mistakes made through hesitation, they rarely can. So act boldly, strike first, and command respect. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Here's how you can plan like a master strategist. Define the end game. What is the ultimate goal? Power, wealth, influence? Get specific, because a vague vision leads to vague results. Map out the obstacles. What could go wrong? Who could oppose you? Anticipate every threat. The best generals win the war before the first battle. Set the steps in motion. Think like a chess player. Move your pieces deliberately. Every action should lead you closer to the final goal. Control the timing. Know when to advance, when to retreat, and when to stop. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. Power is not just about what you achieve, it's about how you make it look. The most powerful people create the perception that success comes easily to them. But behind closed doors, they spend hours refining their craft. Yet, most people make a crucial mistake. They expose their struggles, thinking it will earn them respect. Instead, it has the opposite effect. It makes them look ordinary. The moment people see your sweat, they stop seeing your brilliance. So, how do you create an aura of effortless power? Here's what you need to do. Practice relentlessly, but in private before stepping onto the stage. Never reveal the struggle. If people see you sweating, they stop seeing you as exceptional. Conceal your methods. The more mysterious your skill, the more powerful you appear. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. The best deceptions make people think they have control when, in reality, every option still leads to your desired outcome. Instead of forcing people in one direction, which trigger resistance, you present multiple paths, all leading to where you want them to go. By controlling the options, you make others feel like they're in charge, when really they're just playing into your hands. It works because total freedom is overwhelming. Too many choices create anxiety, and when people feel uncertain, they prefer a controlled set of options. That's why skilled manipulators don't impose a single path. They create two or three, all leading to the same destination. Here's how to do it. Color the choices. Highlight the option you want in the best light, while making the alternatives seem less appealing. This is especially useful when dealing with someone in a higher position than you. Force the resistor. Some people rebel against authority, no matter what. The trick? Push them toward the opposite of what you want. Knowing their contrarian nature will make them defy you by doing exactly what you intended. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. Here's the 4 fantasies that control people's desires. The fantasy of instant change. Success takes time, effort, and sacrifice. But people hate patience. They want to believe in one magical event that will change everything. A winning lottery ticket, a secret formula, a hidden shortcut. If you can sell them the dream of instant transformation, they won't just believe it, they'll fight to defend it. The fantasy of escape. Reality is full of rules, responsibilities, and limitations. But people dream of leaving it all behind, of stepping into a new world with unlimited freedom and adventure. This is why cults, radical movements, and luxury lifestyle influencers thrive. They sell the idea that you can abandon the ordinary and become someone else. The fantasy of unity. Society is divided by competition, self-interest, and conflict. But people wish there was a way for everyone to come together in perfect harmony. And it works because people crave belonging. Leaders who promise unity can rally enormous support, whether it's through nationalism, religion, or ideology. But this is also the most dangerous fantasy, often exploited by demagogues. The fantasy of reversing the unchangeable. The past is gone. Death is final. But people desperately want to believe that what was lost can be restored. Whether it's an old era, a second chance, or even a way to cheat death, nostalgia is a powerful drug, and those who master it can make people chase ghosts forever. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Find the helpless child. Most adult weaknesses trace back to childhood wounds. A person who was spoiled may crave indulgence, while someone who lacked love or validation will gravitate toward those who provide it. Once you uncover what they lacked, you can supply a version of it, making them emotionally dependent on you. Were they overindulged? Then feed their hidden cravings. Were they deprived of love or approval? Then become their source of validation. When you hit on a person's deep-seated insecurity, they don't react logically, they react emotionally, like a child. Watch for behavior that seems immature or exaggerated. That's the key to their soft spot. Look for contradictions. People often project the opposite of their true nature. The timid crave boldness. The aggressive are often insecure. The overly serious secretly long for adventure. They overcompensate to hide their true nature. But if you look past the surface, their weakness becomes obvious. And once you know what they truly want, you can control how they get it. Identify the weak link. Not everyone is easily manipulated, but someone close to them is. Every leader has an advisor, a confidant, a spouse, someone they trust. Find this person, win them over, and you gain indirect power over the real target. Fill the emotional void. People are driven by two major emotional voids: insecurity and unhappiness. The insecure crave validation, flatter them, and they will seek your approval. The unhappy look for an escape. Become their source of joy, and you control their emotions. Most people don't want to fix their problems. They want to feel like they've fixed them. Give them that illusion, and they'll depend on you forever. Exploit uncontrollable emotions. Lust, greed, fear, vanity. These emotions override logic. A paranoid person will believe any threat you suggest. A greedy person will chase any opportunity that promises wealth. A vain person will fall for any praise that feeds their ego. When people can't control themselves, you can control them. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. The deeper issue isn't just pretending to be humble, it's that many people actually believe they aren't worthy of greatness. Over time, they impose limits on themselves, shrink their ambitions, and accept mediocrity as their destiny. But the truth is, the world treats you as you present yourself. If you act small, you will remain small. If you act like royalty, you will eventually be treated as such. To command respect, you must act as if you deserve it. The key is to believe in your own destiny so fully that others believe it too. Confidence is magnetic, and people are drawn to those who believe in their own greatness. If you move with certainty, people will assume you have a right to lead. If you demand more, they'll assume you're worth more. Over time, the world will reflect back the image you create. But a crown is more than just confidence. It's the way you move, the way you hold yourself. The key is to separate yourself from the ordinary without becoming arrogant. Move with dignity, never desperation. Show confidence, not insecurity disguised as arrogance. Never try to prove your superiority. True power doesn't beg for validation. A true ruler doesn't need to convince others of their worth. They simply embody it, and the world follows their lead. Law 35. Master the art of timing. First, long time. The art of waiting. Some things cannot be rushed. Power built slowly is power that lasts. Acting out of fear or impatience only creates more obstacles. Sometimes the best move is no move at all. This is where the tidal wave strategy comes in. Instead of fighting against the tides of history, the wise ride them to power. But remember, what rises will fall. Knowing when to step back is just as important as knowing when to advance. For example, a smart investor doesn't panic when the market crashes. They wait for the right moment to buy low and ride the wave back up. Second, force time, controlling others' pace. Timing isn't just about waiting, it's also about manipulating other people's timing. If you can make your opponent hurry, hesitate, or abandon their rhythm, you gain control. This is where the chess player's strategy comes in. Great chess players dictate the pace of the game, speeding up or slowing down to throw their opponent off balance. You must do the same in life. Control the tempo of conversations, negotiations, and conflicts. Slow down when others are impatient. Speed up when they expect hesitation. Third, end time, the moment to strike. Patience is worthless if you hesitate when the right moment comes. When it's time to act, move with speed and finality. Your opponent should be paralyzed, unable to react before it's too late. This is where the snake charmer strategy comes in. A snake charmer lulls the snake into a trance, but when the moment comes, he must strike without hesitation. The same applies to power. You can wait and prepare, but when the opportunity arrives, you must act instantly. A single delay can undo years of preparation. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Either people try to get something from you, your time, your energy, your reaction, or you find yourself chasing something from others. In both cases, the one who seems least affected holds the power. People expect reactions. The more you react to insults, the more control you hand over to others. But when you act as if something doesn't exist, you strip it of all meaning. Think about it. Someone insults you. Do you react or act like their words are beneath you? A rival tries to provoke you. Do you fight or let them exhaust themselves for nothing? A setback occurs. Do you panic or move forward like it never happened? The less you respond, the more control you have. And if something truly needs to be dealt with, do it in silence. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. People don't crave facts or logic. They crave feeling. A well-crafted spectacle bypasses reason and speaks directly to emotion, where real influence happens. Think of religious ceremonies, political rallies, or even viral marketing campaigns. None of them rely on words alone. Instead, they use grand imagery, dramatic symbols, and orchestrated moments to create awe. And when people feel something deeply, they convince themselves of whatever they want to believe. This is why powerful leaders or brands master the art of visual dominance. Play with powerful imagery. Symbols and visuals stick in people's minds far longer than words. Establish a signature look or act. A unique trait, whether it's a personal style, a signature phrase, or an iconic gesture, makes you unforgettable. Draw from the past. Timeless symbols carry weight. If something worked in the past, it can work again. Be theatrical. A well-staged performance doesn't just communicate a message, it makes people feel it. Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Many believe that standing up for the truth will earn them admiration. But in reality, openly challenging the status quo rarely leads to respect. More often, it invites resistance, resentment, or punishment. People don't like to feel judged or inferior. If your words or actions make them question their beliefs, they won't thank you. They'll see you as a threat. Even if you don't intend it, your defiance may be seen as an insult. So what's the alternative? If direct confrontation doesn't work, you need to play the long game. Don't waste energy fighting battles you can't win. Here's how to do it. Blend in to be left alone. Behave conventionally while quietly thinking whatever you like. Let people assume you think like them. It flatters them and keeps you in their good graces. Express your ideas only to the right people. Share your real thoughts only with those who will appreciate them. Don't reveal too much. If no one knows what you truly believe, they can't accuse you of hypocrisy. Never seek martyrdom. Suffering for your beliefs won't change the world. Surviving and quietly influencing others over time is far more effective. Establish power before standing out. Once you have influence, you can slowly shape opinions instead of forcing change. Master adaptability. The most powerful people are those who fit in best. They blend in to gain control and strike when the time is right. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. Emotion is a liability in power. The moment you lose control, you hand your enemies the advantage. But if you can make them angry while staying calm, you gain an undeniable advantage. They become predictable, impulsive, and easy to manipulate. This is why great strategists provoke emotions in others, but never let their own emotions control them. When people are calm, they think clearly, but when they're angry, they make mistakes. Therefore, if you want to control someone, don't attack them directly. Agitate them, unsettle them, and let their emotions do the rest. Here's how to make your enemy angry. Stir the waters. When things are calm, your enemies have time to plot. So, disrupt their balance. Push them into action before they're ready by playing on their emotions. Pride, vanity, insecurity, or fear. Exploit their weaknesses. If you expose a weakness, whether real or just an illusion, your opponent will often overreact, giving you an opportunity to strike. Appear weak. Nothing is more tempting to an aggressor than an easy target. Let them believe they have the upper hand, and they'll rush in blindly. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Nothing is truly free. What is offered without cost often comes with hidden strings, obligations, deceit, or a future favor you may not want to repay. Accepting free gifts can make you weak, dependent, and controlled by those who offer them. But when you pay full price, you stay independent. You owe no one. Strategic generosity, however, is different. Giving at the right moment creates influence. A reputation for generosity makes people admire you, trust you, and even better, feel indebted to you. The key is knowing when to give and when to refuse. Finally, to stay in control, understand this. Money isn't just a resource. It's a tool for power. Use it wisely, or others will use it against you. Free favors come with hidden costs. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Pay for what you want and stay independent. Greed blinds people. If you promise easy money, many will fall for it. Use this to your advantage when needed. Selling the dream is more profitable than chasing it. The smartest players don't just seek wealth, they profit by teaching others how to get it. Use money to lure, not to save. Being cheap is a distraction. Strategic spending builds influence, loyalty, and power. Fast money disappears quickly. Real power isn't built on quick wins. It's built on patience, control, and long-term thinking. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. Here are 5 reasons to bury your past. It prevents you from shaping your own world. If you cling to the past, you will never build something new. You are forced to follow outdated traditions. The world changes, and yesterday's solutions don't solve today's problems. You remain in the shadow of your predecessor. If you don't break free, you'll always be the next instead of the first. You assume what worked before will work again. It won't. The world is different now. Adapt or fail. Fear of losing an inheritance makes you weak. When you're too afraid to let go of the past, you hesitate, and hesitation leads to downfall. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. If you want to destroy a group, don't fight everyone. Just take out the leader. A strong leader is the glue that holds everything together. Without them, chaos takes over. And this doesn't just apply to criminal empires, it applies everywhere. In toxic workplaces, dysfunctional groups, or chaotic environments, problems rarely happen by accident. They usually start with one person. At first, the issues seem small. Minor arguments, passive-aggressive behavior, or subtle manipulation. But left unchecked, their influence spreads like a virus. Resentment builds, people take sides, and soon, everything spirals out of control. This is why addressing surface-level conflicts is pointless. If you don't deal with the true source, when people are isolated, they become vulnerable. Their power was never really their own. It came from their followers. They grow desperate. Without influence, they're weak and easy to manipulate. They lose credibility. The moment they're cut off, their authority fades. Even the strongest figures crumble when left alone. There are 3 ways to isolate someone. Physical isolation. Exile them. Remove them from the environment. Political isolation. Strip them of influence. Cut off their support. Psychological isolation. Turn the group against them through slander and manipulation. In the end, power isn't about fighting every battle. It's about striking the right target. Remove the leader, and the rest will fall apart on their own. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Yes, fear can make people obey, but only for a while, because fear breeds resentment. And resentment doesn't just disappear. It waits. It builds. And one day it explodes. The more you tighten your grip, the more people dream of breaking free. So if you try to control people through intimidation, you don't just create followers, you create future enemies. So what's the alternative? Seduction. Instead of forcing people to follow you, make them want to. When people feel like they're acting out of their own free will, they become far more committed. No resistance, no rebellion. That's real power. But to win someone over, you need to understand what drives them. Some crave recognition, others seek security. Many are ruled by ego. If you tap into what they care about, they'll follow willingly. But if you ignore their emotions, they'll resist you. Most people think power means domination, but real power comes from connection. So if you want to maintain influence, pay attention. Always read the psychology of those around you. Tailor your words. Speak in a way that entices and persuades. Lose touch and you lose control. The higher you rise, the more connected you must remain. Build a strong base of support. When storms come, they'll protect you. Convert enemies into allies. A former enemy who chooses your side will defend you fiercely. Calculate before you act. Learn people's emotional triggers, their fears, desires, and weaknesses. Alternate harshness with mercy. Break them down, then build them up again. Show them how it benefits them. People act out of self-interest. Tap into it. The wider your support, the stronger your power. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Mirrors reflect reality, but they can also deceive. When you mirror someone, copying their actions, attitudes, or strategies, you disorient them. They can't predict your next move, and that confusion gives you control. Mirroring works in two key ways. One, it seduces. People love themselves. If you reflect their desires, attitudes, and emotions, they'll feel connected to you, even if it's an illusion. Two, it unsettles. When you mimic an enemy, you mock them, frustrate them, and make them react emotionally instead of logically. Finally, mirroring is a strategy that can make you persuasive, untouchable, and even dangerous. But why does it work so well? Because it builds trust. People feel safe with those who reflect their thoughts and desires. It confuses enemies. When opponents see themselves mirrored, they lose control and react emotionally. It buys you time. By copying rather than reacting, you force others to make the first move while you stay 2 steps ahead, from seduction to warfare, from business to politics. Those who master the mirror effect can control the game without others even realizing it. Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. People demand progress, but when it arrives too fast, they resist. They fear instability more than stagnation. History has proven it over and over again. Those who push for radical change rarely live to see its rewards. The French Revolution started with promises of freedom, but ended in the reign of terror. The Soviet Union began as a workers' paradise, but turned into a dictatorship. Why? Because change, when sudden, feels like chaos. People don't just accept it, they fight it. That's why if you want to reform something, you can't present it as a break from the past. Instead, make it feel like a natural continuation of what already exists. Indeed, people don't resist change itself. They resist the feeling of loss. If something familiar disappears overnight, they panic. But if change feels like a refinement of what already exists, they accept it without question. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. We assume people admire perfection, but in reality, they envy it. And envy is far more dangerous than admiration. The moment people see you as superior, they start comparing themselves to you. When they fall short, they don't blame themselves. They blame you. Envy festers in silence, turning admiration into resentment. And resentment leads to sabotage. The more you rise, the more enemies you create, sometimes even among those closest to you. As philosopher Kierkegaard put it, envy is unhappy admiration. Envy isn't always obvious. It hides behind excessive praise. Over-the-top compliments often set you up for a fall. Harsh criticism and slander. Some people will attack you outright, but often, envy disguises itself as constructive negativity. Sudden changes in behavior. A once supportive friend or colleague suddenly seems distant, cold, or passive-aggressive. Envy is inevitable, but how you carry yourself determines whether it turns into a threat. If you want to rise without becoming a target. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. In the realm of power, you must be guided by reason. Letting emotions guide your moves is a fatal mistake, and nothing stirs emotions more than victory. Success is intoxicating. It clouds your judgment, breeds overconfidence, and tempts you to keep pushing past your original goal. But this is when you're most vulnerable. The belief that success naturally leads to more success is a trap. You believe that momentum will carry you forward, but momentum is an illusion. What worked before won't always work again. Circumstances change, and if you fail to adapt, you will fall. Ironically, good luck can be more dangerous than bad luck. When things go wrong, you're forced to plan, strategize, and stay cautious. But when everything goes right, you stop questioning, stop adapting, and start believing your success is entirely your own doing. That's when fortune shifts and you're caught off guard. Therefore, when victory comes, don't let it blind you. Law 48. Assume formlessness. History proves one thing. Rigidity leads to downfall. The moment you adopt a fixed shape, you become predictable. And what's predictable can be attacked, outmaneuvered, and defeated. The most powerful people, organizations, and empires didn't survive by staying the same. They adapted. They reinvented themselves, shifted strategies, and made it impossible for their enemies to pin them down. Formlessness is power. Here, stay fluid. The less defined you are, the harder it is for others to control you. Take nothing personally. Reacting emotionally exposes your weaknesses. Stay unreadable. Confuse your enemies. Shift tactics constantly, making it impossible for anyone to pin you down. Avoid rigid systems. Routine is useful, but don't let it trap you. Be ready to abandon what no longer serves you. Disappear when necessary. Sometimes the best move is to vanish, giving your enemies nothing to attack. Strike with precision. When you do take form, do so strategically. Hit fast, hard, and with purpose. But beware, there are mistakes that can destroy you. Defensiveness is weakness. If you react emotionally, you expose your vulnerabilities, allowing enemies to keep attacking the same weak spots. Formlessness is not passivity. It's a strategy, not an excuse to drift aimlessly. Stay in control, always keeping your long-term goals in mind. The key to power is movement, not position. Control the game by remaining ungraspable, ever-changing, and always one step ahead.